One of the interesting things that I think we are seeing kind of pan out a little bit is during the draft, neither you or I were very high on the idea of grabbing a wide receiver at pick 9. And that is what the Bears did. They drafted Rome Odunze, and a lot of people out there love that pick. I was a little put off by it at first, but seeing some of these wide receiver contracts recently, they are just ridiculous. Some of these numbers are getting so high for these wide receivers that I'm starting to look at the landscape and think, man, I don't know if I would sign one for that kind of money, period. Like, I don't know if I would do what the Vikings just did with Justin Jefferson. With him being the best wide receiver, too. I don't know if I could feel good about allocating that type of cap room, that type of money towards that one player for that position too. And if that's how it's going to be, then man, I would be drafting wide receivers left and right, just replacing one after the next. Like when DJ Moore's contract comes up now, depending on what he's going to want, which is probably going to be whatever the market is giving out, which is a lot. I don't know if I want to re-sign him necessarily for that kind of money. It might be easier to just sit there and just replace. Oh, I don't know if I'd want to sign Odunze in 5 years, depending on what this landscape looks like in 5 years. So, yeah, that's just kind of something interesting.
I think it goes into a lot of what we say about every position and about money in the NFL in general, right? It's not our money. We never get personally offended by when people get paid. It's just more about like allocation of resources and how a team is built and how it's going to be functioning afterwards. I think the only positions that much money ever makes sense is like those top 3 positions of need, right? Like cornerback, maybe. I think even that one's a little bit too dependent on everyone else on the field. Defensive end is a good one. And then quarterback's always a good position to put your money into. But with a position like wide receiver, it's so dependent on too many variables to the point where it's nice to have a good one, and it's going to be a quarterback's best friend. And I understand why Minnesota did it for sure, because of the way that they've kind of, I don't think they mistreat their players or their team legends in any way, shape, or form. I think Minnesota's really respectful, but right, they let Stephon Diggs walk away, or they traded him away, got Justin Jefferson out of it. They let Adam Thielen leave, right? They didn't make him retire a Viking. So I think there's a little bit more of a just kind of, hey, let's keep our homegrown talent homegrown. I understand why they did it, having young quarterback, right? Kirk Cousins leaving, J.J. McCarthy being there and all that. So it makes sense. Having said all that, I think anytime you put that much money into one position that has multiple positions even on the field at all times, right? Like quarterback, you could almost justify $50 million because there's one quarterback playing at all times. But when you have the second highest contract ever given out and it's a wide receiver, there's 3 of them on the field at all times, right? So now your other 2 positions are going to be less players or lesser players. So I just feel like contracts like that end up biting you in the butt. They take too much money on your cap hit every year. You can't allocate those resources to other players. How it affects the Bears is I'm going to 100% eat my words on the Rome Odunze draft pick. If you have Caleb and you know Keenan Allen's about to get paid $22 to $25 million a year, I think at this point, having seen that money go this offseason, I think Keenan Allen's like a sure thing to walk away. I don't think the Bears can afford to keep him, even if they wanted to. Even if he like balled out and they want to keep him here, unless he took a team-friendly contract. And then, like you said, with DJ Moore expiring in about 2 years, you got to keep this stable of wide receivers rotating for now while Caleb's on his rookie contract. So I definitely am going to eat my words on the draft pick, how it results. Maybe Rome Odunze is a huge bust. Maybe he's an absolute stud. Who knows? In terms of how the draft pick was used, I think I'm definitely eating my words from pre-draft predictions and what I thought of taking 2 offensive players in top 9. I think you got a good player, and I think you need to look for a deal and affordability at that position moving forward in this current market of the NFL. Yes, the cap's going to go up and all that good stuff, but right now, wide receiver, I think when there's 3 of them on the field at all times, I think they got to be cheap. You got to get them as cheap as possible, or maybe pay for one, but the rest have to be cheap. So I think it was a good pick. Hopefully he's as good as advertised. And yeah, I'm definitely going to backpedal a little bit on the how I felt about the draft pick at the time. And I think I like it more as the offseason progresses.
Okay, so I may agree with that last sentence. I think I like it more as the offseason progresses too, but I don't think I'm going to backpedal. You know, I never claimed that I know what the Bears are going to do. I just know what I would like them to do, and whatever they do is whatever they do. I mean, that's that they have a whole team full of people up there that are making decisions together. We're just two fans, right? So there's always that. But I'm still going to double down and say, listen, every single year there is at least one player from the defensive side of the football that winds up being a stud. Okay, you had zero defensive players taken to like pick 16. So in my opinion, just from just a draft team building standpoint, to trade back to pick 16 and have a pick of the litter at the whole defensive side of the football, to me would still have been way worth it. Um, I'm just saying, I also, as the landscape now changes financially too, maybe this is one of those things though that Ryan Poles is just one step ahead. And I'm starting to understand why this pick makes more sense than I thought it did. But no, but I mean, I still think I would have preferred the trade back. I don't know. I'm stubborn.